Roll tape.
Yeah.
You want us to count you in?
Yeah. Here we go.
Banter and Burger style.
With your countdown.
We call Elijah.
I totally did that to be stupid, and then he's like, count it down every
I like
time
that,
now.
but I was also told it was stupid. So, hey,
Who told you that?
our friend up in Pennsylvania actually told us we need to do something different. You know.
Oh yeah, because he's a professional podcaster.
Well, and he has been so successful in all of his endeavors. He'll hear this, so hopefully
He will. He will hear
We
this.
probably shouldn't talk too much shit about him.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll hear this.
Special message to
I'll
Bones.
talk all the shit I want to about Bones.
Coming at you from the Common Desk in Dallas, and Common Desk is not sponsoring this episode at all, but I'm just
It'd be nice if they would, right?
well, I mean,
They
it's,
kind of are.
Common Desk, pony up.
we're here, and it's a good shout out. You know, it's a nice spot, so if anybody needs a place to hang,
I mean, they kind of are. We're at the space here, right?
They're sponsoring
Kind of a
space.
sponsor. No, you're not going to
No.
take that.
no,
Okay.
I wouldn't consider them a sponsor. I'm just giving them a shout out in this recording here.
Well, that's
But,
very good of you.
We got very special guests today. Special because these guys are special in their own little way.
Yeah.
These two guys, we've been friends a long time, but they recently started their own podcast that I've been listening to. You guys are 5 episodes in?
4 episodes in, unless you count like me. Yeah, I numbered off our 4th episode
That's right.
as number 5.
That's right.
It seemed like 5. There.
Seems like
Spend enough time.
like
When you
about 100.
spend enough time with Kenny, and everything seems longer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, when is this going to end?
Where everything seems longer?
I'd
Not
agree.
everything.
That's what she said.
Not everything.
There, but
Time-wise,
Oh,
time.
time-wise. Okay. Well, these guys, your show is called Banter and Burgers. And so these guys are hanging with us today. Kenny and Michael from Banter and Burgers.
Yeah.
very serious show.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
deal with very serious
Let's
issues.
break down the show. Let's get into the show.
I mean, we've tackled, huge issues like Trump, transgender. Oh, we haven't talked about any of those things. We've just talked about burgers and sports.
Soccer,
mostly,
LFC,
right? Football.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Which is huge. They did it yesterday. They crushed Barcelona 4-0.
Came through in a big way.
Big way. Their 2 best strikers were out, and they pulled off a pretty awesome performance.
Are you a soccer fan?
No.
Football?
Sports.
What kind of football? Like European football?
Yeah.
No.
Oh man, you need to pick a team.
I like
Football.
I watch the World Cup and I always root for like the Latin teams.
Yeah, that's how I got into it too. But then you pick a team. Everybody has a team now.
Italy, that's my team.
Oh, right on. What's the
Yeah.
Italian?
The Italian salute. Yeah, it's like this.
That's Cuban, I think. That's
Oh. I don't know.
Castro is this one.
Yeah.
The beard.
The listeners can't see what you're doing, but
Right. Yeah. None of this translates.
Well,
Kenny's
there's people in the room that can see me.
basically tickling his chinny chin chin in various ways.
Lord.
yeah. So right off the bat, guys, one of the things I like about your show, and there's
Is that it sucks.
a few things. There's a few things I like about your show. One of the things, and if I could say, as a personal request to do more of, it's the bickering between you two, like an old married couple.
Well, that's good that you say that because we've been fighting all morning.
Yeah.
And believe me, if you want to hear a really good, explosive podcast, please tune into episode 5, where I torture Michael for everything he's done wrong to me our entire lives.
Okay, how long have you guys known each other?
27 years.
So you are like an old married couple.
Yeah.
At this
Pretty
point.
much.
Yeah.
How'd y'all meet?
College.
Well, it was a really bad first blind date.
Like somebody
That
set
worked
y'all
out.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
We
met at college,
This
but
will
it actually took us. We didn't become friends right away. We had, we always had our mutual buddies, and in college you got your big group of friends, and we were in the same dorm, and then we actually went to after college. We went to seminary,
Yes.
pursuing the Lord's work,
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we became more like, I guess, closer friends. We got another buddy. I mean, Bones. David Peacock, we all were at.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've met
together.
Peacock.
Yeah, you met David Peacock.
Well, I basically met Kenny through Bones because I've been friends with Bones for a long time. Shout out to Bones.
The boner.
And
Can we talk about Bones for a minute? Like, do you have to interpret all his texts? Do you have like a glossary of like, I have to, because they lived in the same complex, so I will text Kenny all the time. Like, what does he mean? What is this? Like, I still don't even get the frog thing, but that's just his nickname for himself, right?
Well, it goes back. He was Mad Dog, and one time, one of the coaches at our school, their kid called him, "What's your nickname, Mad Frog?" And he went, "Yeah, it's Mad Frog." And he just took it from there. He just adopted that as his nickname forever. He just thought that was so cute. But yeah, no one would know that unless you were really on the inside of his life. But he assumes everyone kind of can either figure that out or maybe knows it already. And it's like, no, dude.
his ability to nickname things is
It's legendary.
it is because it goes. I thought I was good at it.
Oh, no. He takes it to a whole nother level.
Dude, he can, and he will lay a nickname on you like you know who he's talking about,
Yeah.
and you don't.
Yeah,
Don't have a clue.
I told Kenny a story one time, and I don't even think I told Bones, right? You relate it to Bones. So then the next thing I know, Bones is calling me Trooper, and I had no idea why. And I'm like, why is he calling me Trooper? That was my nickname for a long time. That's another confusing thing. He'll change it just at random. Like when a new story comes along, he thinks this nickname's more fitting or whatever.
Yeah, so, yeah, he assumes people know all the information behind the nickname. So, but when they don't, he doesn't exactly explain it. He just kind of goes, "Oh, you don't know? Okay, whatever." And it's like, no, I need to know what are you talking about here?
No, I gave up trying to get
Exactly.
the backstory. Once I just figure out who he's talking about, then I'm like, okay, that's just Young Frog forever or whatever.
Mad Frog, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he's got he's called me a range of things from Chubba Wubba to it's mostly Chub. It has to do with chubby, most of it, because I'm fat guy.
Well, I have you in my phone as Chubbers.
Chubbers, yeah,
Because that's how he introduced you to me.
one incarnation was Chubbers and Chubs and Chubba Wubba.
I always felt a little uncomfortable about it, though, because I'm like, are we sitting there making fun of, but you seem to be okay with it.
Alternatively, his nickname is Bones because he was so skinny,
Right.
and when he was younger.
Right.
So,
Which he's not necessarily anymore, but that's how I knew him from day one, pretty much, and that's all I've ever really called him is Bones. And people are like, "You have a friend named Bones?" Like, yeah, Bones. Like,
Yeah.
okay. You're 40-something.
well, I didn't even know your name was Kenny for a long time. I just knew you as Snowman.
Yeah. Snowman has a really abstract origin too. I think it goes back to my truck. I had a truck that was all white, like a 4-door Ford or something, and I believe I nicknamed that Snowman. But that somehow the nickname got to me, and then we had this really weird left turn where I was making fun of my dad one time, and I saw this, you know those blow-up snowmans that people put in their yards during Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, it had a light on the inside, like a yellow light. And so when it shined, I mean, at night, it didn't look white, it looked yellow. And so we equated that to, like, you know, when someone pisses in the snow and it looks yellow. And then I'm the snowman, so my dad is the yellow snowman because hopefully Dad's not going to listen to this. But, well, he was kind of a pissy guy for some time there. But we should probably edit that out in some case. But anyway.
He's not going to listen.
No one's going to listen.
There's no edits in this.
There's no edits in ours either.
We say all the time, we say, we're going to edit that out, and we never do. We leave even that in.
Yeah, we do too.
You know where I got that from, just listening to the ticket. Because they would say they're going to drop that. They're going to, what do they do when they hit the button and it totally silences everything? I don't know, I forget what they call it. Not drop it, but...
hit the delay?
There's some other word for it. I can't think of the word for it. Anyway.
If there are any P1s listening, now would be a good time to call in.
787-1310 to take it. Or whatever. I don't think I told you to do that.
You're bad at phone numbers.
Yeah, that's way too many digits. Dump. That's it. Dump it.
Dump it.
Yeah, they say they would say
dump
there.
it. Yeah.
Let's dump that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which, speaking of dumps, talk about an old married couple. That's one thing that Kenny hates to talk about. Did you notice that in the first podcast? I brought up like that wherever we were had a nice restroom.
A nice bathroom, yeah.
And he like freaked out. He's like, we're going to edit that out. People don't want to hear that. I'm like, okay.
That was one of our good fights, though. One of our good bickering moments, probably.
It was.
In the very beginning, yeah.
It was a good. There was a lot of subtle ones in that first episode. There's a lot of subtlety where you were like, when you guys were doing First Bite, and then like,
he'd start telling a story, and I'd be like, "No, First Bite."
Michael just went into like his review of the burger, and Kenny's like, "Well, I guess you're just gonna,
review it now."
I was gonna do that later, but fine, go ahead and go with it.
Yeah, it's once you get me talking, then I talk in stories.
Like,
I always say if I do my own podcast, it'll just be everything reminds me of everything. Because I'll start telling a story, and then 5 stories later, I wrap up the first story.
Just like chasing the rabbit trails?
Yeah, it's just all rabbit trails. And
He gets to talking about all the stuff that doesn't matter in a story all of a sudden matters. And you either endure that...
It's not that it matters or doesn't matter. It
doesn't.
Stream of consciousness, just reminds me of something else, and I go.
Well, but here's the cool thing about it, and this is why I think we get along as friends so well. Is I know there's going to be some gold in there somewhere, so a lot of times I'll just let him go because I want to hear there's something in this part of the story that could be really good. But then there's just times where I'm just like, just get to the point. I got that. Let's go to where we were, because I don't want to endure that. Whatever rabbit trail you're going to go down, but
you like the kind of storyteller where you're like, I was going down the road and there was a lady. What was that? The lady was wearing a blue. No, I think it was a purple dress. It has nothing to do with the story. Like,
who cares what color dress? I don't think I really do that.
Not
like
that?
I'm like, who cares what color her dress is?
Yeah. So but your rabbit trails are pertinent to the story.
I don't think there's a lot of rhyme or reason. Like, you could end up talking about that dress, the color of that dress, because it reminded you of your grandmother when you were a little kid who took you to Nordstrom.
It's memory based.
And when
it's when something in this story triggers a memory of another story.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Or just a memory because it isn't always a story,
right?
But you're trying to craft it into a story right then. So that's where we have to be like, all right, let's let this play out and see where it goes. But
how did you guys decide to do a podcast? I know in your podcast you talk about talking about podcasts, like had all these in ideas and like
we've talked.
Versions of,
we've just had ideas. We've talked about it for a long time. We're going to do a podcast for business or leadership or ambit or whatever, and then we just but it's just all talk, and then we're like, we got to do it. Let's just do it, because
because I don't think that I have a huge I don't know if I should say this, but I don't have a huge passion for burgers per se. It's not like I live my life and get up every day and go, man, where is the next great burger? It's got to be, just down the street, or I got to travel for this or whatever. It's not like that. It's just burgers just seem like it's something we're all always going to eat all the time. We're always right? We're always going for a burger at some point.
There's plenty of burger options.
And there's a lot of conversation that happens just around a burger and, a beer maybe, or Topo Chico or whatever it is. It's handy nearby. So, but then just the banner part is really I think that's where we really want to go, is we want to get to where our banner is really the highlight of the podcast. But I don't know. It's nice to be able to talk about something and offer somebody, because banner doesn't seem like it has a lot of value to people. Our band.
You'd be surprised, man, because sometimes I can really enjoy listening to people talk about nothing.
Right.
If they're presenting it in an engaging, and to me, comedy is like number one. So if you can laugh at something, it makes it more easier to listen to. If something's funny. And so, I think I've built a podcast around that concept of talking about nothing and having a show about nothing and just being able to ramble and stick any subject or topic in there and make something out of it. And so I think there is value to that. So the banner side of it, I think, don't sell yourself short on the banner side of it, because like I said, one of my favorite things about your show is when you two guys are going at each other, and not you've never really had a full blown fight on the
it's
show.
not a knockdown, drag out. We just argue.
But there's just little bickering and little it makes it engaging and kind of entertaining to me, and those are the things that I find funny, and I enjoy your take on the burger, but I get through the burger part to get back to the banner part. You know what I mean? It's like I'm looking for those moments where you guys are tripping on each other and just kind of being like, shut up, and that kind of and then having your son, Michael, having this last episode 4 that you guys did, Michael's son Elijah, his name,
Elijah.
He was on the show, and that was cool too, because he adds a whole different element, and he's got a whole different personality, and I found I have my son Dax on my show a lot. He's 12 also, and he brings a lot of different perspective and energy to the show, because he's looking at things through a 12-year-old brain.
Yeah.
And that is a amusement park. The 12-year-old brain is just all full of rides and craziness. And so to hear him, then you guys brought him into the show, I thought that was a pretty cool element too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was our best episode so far, and I think it just added an element. I think the two of us, we're buddies for a long time. We hang out a lot. I basically live 2 hours away, so it's not like we see each other every day. So the podcast was also sort of an excuse to get together. Hey, now we have to get together, hang out, and do what we do when we hang out anyway. Go grab a burger, go grab a beer, go to a sporting event or something like that. And then, but I think we're still, for me, maybe, I don't know if it's for Kenny, but something changes when you're being recorded. I don't know, maybe.
Dude, he gets into character. This one gets into character. You have to see.
See, I don't feel like I have so far. I don't.
No, you do.
I feel like
you record something clicks.
No, actually, it happens a little bit before. So when we know we're about to record or about to get to where we're going to be, he'll say something, and it's like he projects it in a way where he knows others are going to hear it, and it just his voice changes a little bit. It's kind of funny. I'm like, dude, you're in character. Then I want to hit record right then, because I'm like, let's start recording what we're saying here. So sometimes I'll be recording, and he doesn't even know it. So I'm just like, just want to hear what comes out of it.
Which one of you on the last episode was like, I can't run and hold up my pants at the same time?
That was me.
That was Michael?
Yeah. Yeah, we were running because it started raining, right? Like that's like our third or fourth we've had 4 episodes. So I think 2 of them. And then, of course, we're coming to your podcast today. And I'm like, rain is apparently a major theme in our... Because the very first one, you could actually hear the rain in the background as we're driving to...
I know. I was thinking about that, too. It was raining today. I was like, dude, it's going to be a show about the rain.
It's a rainy podcast. Well, speaking of the rain, we're all kind of in a central location today. My home studio, that I call the Loft, is out in East Texas, and so to get people to come out there and be guests on the show and stuff is really difficult. And I've had a lot of people contact me and say, "Hey, I want to be on the show," or "Hey, let's do something together." And I did a Skype thing once with my cousin, and he's in San Antonio, so it was kind of like a necessity. But it was a little more difficult to do over Skype. You can't see the other person, so the chemistry is a little off, and there was a little bit of a delay, so the timing was a little bit off, and so we had those kind of couple of little issues. So I was like, I'd really like to find a way that we could just meet in one spot and kind of connect, and record this thing. And so I set up these interviews today, but for the listener that doesn't know, we had like a monsoon this morning. It was like a torrential downpour. And so I came from East Texas to downtown Dallas, right? So it's like normally an hour and a half. It took me over 2 hours. There was cars in the ditch, like all along the way. There was all kinds of cars in ditches. There was lanes shut down. I was floating, part of the way. My truck, I just got my paddle out and just started paddling. And I was watching the radar too all along the way over here. It was just crazy amount of storm. But I heard that you guys had a little bit different experience this morning trying to get here, because I got here late and then you guys got here late also. So,
I was basically here. Yeah. I just live like 5 minutes from here.
Yeah, Kenny lives real near here. But, yeah, it depending on traffic. I mean, I can make it an hour and 15 minutes to Kenny's normally pretty easily, because it's just a straight shot down 75 and then a little jot around downtown. But, yeah, for me, like part of the drive here, I was telling Kenny, like, hey, I'm in Plano, but we're doing like 35, 45 miles an hour just because of visibility and people slowing down and stuff.
I don't think that's what he's talking about, though.
Wasn't there something else that happened this morning?
Oh, well, yeah.
That was not related to the rain.
Yeah, he's trying to bait us into to bickering. No, yeah. So
I'm game.
We get the gloves on. Yeah, it was my fault. I was late because my son's soccer game last night. We were running out of the house and they were already in the car, so I locked the keys. But we were in my wife's car, so I threw my keys down in the little door panel because I just didn't want them in my pocket, sitting there watching his soccer game. So then I left him there. So she left this morning to go to school, and I get up to leave the house, and I'm like, oh, crap, I don't have my keys. It took me a minute to look around for all the normal places I throw them down when I come in, and then I finally realized, oh, my keys are in Becky's car at the school.
So you were going to leave about 7:30.
Yeah, but that's never really reality.
But you kind of had.
But yeah, I was ready to leave around 8:15, other than not realizing my
so you were already 45 minutes behind schedule before you realized your keys were missing?
And this is why we bicker. Because I basically set aside, I had stuff I was going to try to do originally maybe between 9 and 11, and I kind of canceled that because you said you're going to leave at 7:30, which I figured to put you there about 9. Even if you did leave a little bit late, you'd still get there about 9. And we
so that even if I left at 8:15,
we're going to do a burger for breakfast.
9:30 and do a burger for breakfast. So rattle off a podcast, for our next episode.
Yeah.
Then come hang out with you, and then probably go grab another one for late lunch or early dinner or something.
We were going to bring you a burger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
It was.
It's all my fault. But we went to Wingfields, and little did we know. I mean, there was one guy
Can you
in
say
line.
that last part again? Can you say the last part again? But right before that, it's all.
We went to
it's all-
Wingfields.
No, right before that.
Oh yeah,
It's all my
I
fault.
don't remember.
It's all my fault.
Oh, it was. It was all your fault. I'm glad he admitted that on
See,
on the
there
podcast.
we go.
No, so
It's recorded.
yeah, we got to Wingfields, and there was just one guy in
Right
line in
character.
front of us, but they told him his burger was going to take 30 minutes. So
The guy looked like Deacon from King of Queens, by the way, in my opinion.
Nice.
If anybody ever watches the King of Queens, that was Deacon in front of us.
That show's not even on the air anymore.
It is. No, it is.
probably
I
in
still watch
syndication
It's
reruns.
in syndication.
Yeah, it's syndication. Yeah.
It's an older show.
And there, I don't know if you know, there are things like Hulu and Netflix and YouTube. You can see a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
a lot of old shows that aren't
Bring
really
it.
on anymore.
Yeah, well, if you listen to my previous episode, I talked about how I'm at war with streaming services right now because they've all shit the bed on me. So,
How so? Like it's just
Hulu.
not.
well, the last one I had was Hulu, and Hulu just was like, we're going to suspend your account because you need to update your card information. Okay, but I wasn't in a billing. It wasn't like a billing turnover. It was a mid month on my billing cycle, right? So I'm like, what do you mean update my card info? My card hasn't changed. Nothing's changed. It's been the same card that's worked all along. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I get this message: you need to update your card information. So I'm like, okay, I'm game. Maybe something got messed up in there. I need to update. Let me go update my card information. It won't let me into the account. It says, this account information will not load. Please try again later. And so when I go back into account settings, boom, the same message. Error. Account won't load. Please try again later. For 4 days.
Whoa.
So I was like, fuck you guys, man. Y'all are going to sit here. I've already paid for this time. I can't watch TV. And you're not letting me fix what you say is the problem. So I canceled my subscription. But before that, I was with YouTube and when they're beta phase, and that was terrible, but it's better now. And then before that, I was with Sling, and then Sling was like dropping channels and raising their prices. And I did PS View. PS View was raising their prices. So I was like, dude, I don't really want to. I don't want to cut cable cost and then spend $70 a month
On all these other little
on a streaming service. It's like it's expensive anyway. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I think this may be an early call, but I feel like it's sort of a failure in a way. All the streaming services, and we're supposed to be able to cut the cord, and get away from cable or the satellite stuff. But now, like I think with Disney, so Marvel is pulled from Netflix.
That's right.
And they're going to start. So it's like now you're just going to have so many of these little independent. And yeah, you can subscribe to just what you want or what you're interested in. But I think most people's tastes vary. So it's like not everything I want to see is on Hulu, or not everything I want to see is on Netflix. Or, I mean, even though I've got a 12-year-old, not everything I want to see is Disney.
Yeah.
So then we end up subscribing to all these things, and then you're like, holy crap, where is all my money going? It's all these little nitpicky subscription things.
Some of them are putting out some really good content too. So it's like, I mean, you keep telling me about this show. I need to say Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not subscribed to that, so I'm like, well, give me your password. give me your password, and I'll watch it, because I don't want to subscribe to another one. And I'm pretty sure there are half a dozen people have my HBO password. Do you want it, by the way? I mean,
Oh yeah,
okay.
that'd be great. Sure.
Like I think that's what we all got to get together and just start sharing our passwords, and then they'll be like, "What the?"
Yeah, people do that anyway, and I know they try to crack down on that, but there's really no way. I mean, it's really hard to stop that.
Yeah, they'd have to figure out that people are streaming from two different locations at the same time and somehow stop that. But yeah,
but then you
So
have
far-
families. Then they're like, so
Yeah.
how do you say, oh well, my kids are in one spot and I'm here, and we have the same account?
Yep,
so
there you go.
It's really difficult to police that. I think
We're outsmarting the man.
to a certain
once.
extent, but I mean, we're still getting bent over the barrel at the end of the day.
I had a real similar experience to your Hulu experience in one sense. Like, so we have the Cinemark app on our phone. So, like, every time we go to a movie, I try to buy it through there, and I get so many tickets for free. And every other time I go to buy a ticket, it tells me that my credit card zip code or the little 3-digit code is wrong. Like every other time. I'm like, I just used it to buy tickets 2 days ago, but now it's saying my credit card information is something's wrong. And then I'll go in and I'll change it, and even though it's not wrong, I'll sit there and retype it in, re-enter it, maybe thinking, well, that'll trigger them, whatever they think is wrong, and then it's like maddening.
Yeah.
And there just seems like I don't know, it's like, when is technology sort of like all going to implode on itself and like eat itself? Because it just seems like all these little things that are meant to simplify things and make things easier, but if they go wrong, you're just screwed.
Right.
Like I had a buddy that has like his garage door opener is Wi-Fi based. One time he was just stuck out of his house because he didn't carry his keys because he gets in through the garage door, and the electricity had knocked out the Wi-Fi or something, and he couldn't get in the house to reset it, or it was just crazy.
That's wild. Yeah, dude. The last time I had an actual cable service, I lost my mind on them, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this again, because it was a TV internet package, right? And they suspended my internet usage, and they wouldn't tell me why. And it was like for I think like 10 days, I kept calling them. They're like, well, we're trying to track the problem or whatever. Eventually, I found out that they had suspended my service because they believed that I was sending out viruses from, like I was sending people viruses from my home, and I was like, you idiots, And so I yelled at them, and I was like, I want my service back on right now. And so I had to go through a couple of hoops and like prove that I wasn't, murdering people's computers. And then they didn't turn my service on. So I came home from work the next day and I still had no service, and I just lost my mind. And I called the lady and I was like, listen, you have 1 hour to turn my service back on, or I'm going to take all this shit. I'm going to rip it out of my house. I'm going to throw it off my fucking balcony, 3rd floor, and you can come pick it up, whatever's left in the street. Okay. I'm done with this shit. And she was like, okay. And she like clicked, I don't know, her clicking, and then it came on. I was like,
are you serious?
Why was that so hard, dude? Why was that so hard? Yeah, it worked.
Freaking use that.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I have TV and internet, and I tried to just go to internet so that I could basically cut the cord, and but they said no, it's more expensive for you just to have internet than to have the basic cable and internet. So, I mean, they said I could do it, but they just said that would be the situation. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll keep basic TV and have my internet, because at least I get some TV from the outside world. But dude, I wouldn't have it if I could get away with it. That'd be the way I'd go. But
now that I'm kind of like mid services and trying to think of what I'm going to do next, I'm like, I really don't watch that much TV. I watch sports.
Yeah.
So if there was a streaming service that just had sports, like it just would show you all the games that you want to watch. You don't have to pay for like 1,000 other channels that you're never going to watch. You just have live sports. That would be so cool, but you're never going to have that because there's so many different networks that, you have TNT that plays sporting events. You have ESPN. You've got like local ABC, NBC, Fox Sports, So you're never going to be able to just nail it down to just sports. But if I could pay for that, I would, because that's all I ever watch.
Well, thankfully, like ESPN and TNT and Fox, you may have just said this, but they're all free. I mean, you don't have to pay for any of those. Is that what you were saying? Or did I?
Well, but to see games, you have to have ESPN Plus, which is like $4.99.
Most of them are on regular ESPN app, ESPN Watch app.
What about NBC Sports Gold?
So you have
that was a ripoff, which we both
paid for.
We both have that
to see like 2 Liverpool games that weren't televised anywhere else.
But they made us believe that there were going to be, like half the games of the season were going to be on NBC Sports Gold. So you should probably get this. And then not only that, but my understanding was I'd be able to watch golf and, a few other things like I would really want to watch. And none of that. You have to have another subscription to get the golf or to get
really,
or like an addition to your subscription or something like another $5 a month or whatever. And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me! This is ridiculous. And so I've used that like twice this year. I paid. It was like $50 a year. I think. What did you pay? Like 25 something?
Yeah, I think it was like halfway through the season, so it was only $24.99, and I saw
you still
one or two games. Yeah,
dude, we get to watch other games, but I can't sit there and watch every freaking EPL game.
They put a lot of UFC fights on ESPN Plus, and so I like watching the UFC fights, and so I was like, okay, I'll buy Plus. It's like $5 a month or something, right? Dude, the first fight, it was so laggy. It was
no way.
Sketchy as fuck. And I'm like, why? I wouldn't pay monthly for this, even if it's only $5. It's like laggy and it would freeze
Wait,
up.
did he just punch him 3 times, or was that one punch that like glitched? Like
that was an awesome move. How did he do that hesitation thing?
He's in the Matrix.
Exactly. So I have a question or a observation about you, Aaron.
Okay.
So I've only listened to a couple of
How dare you?
Your episodes.
You're a huge fan. Cool.
I am a huge fan. Actually, sometimes I just put it on and like leave the room and just so at least. Yeah. I'm just kidding. No, it's very compelling.
If I could leave the room while I was talking, I would also leave the room.
You have a very compelling podcast. No doubt. So, but there was one podcast that you did, and you had somebody in the room with you, like your cousin or somebody.
Oh, without a microphone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know? I mean, we talked about this, right?
Yeah.
That was. I don't know if you realize that was genius. Did anybody comment on this? Because
I got some negative comments on it.
What?
I saw the genius in it, and I don't know how. I'm thankful that you guys saw it, but I don't know how more people didn't see it, or at least tell me about it, because I got some negative, like, man, why didn't your cousin have a microphone? I'm like, dude,
no.
Who the hell else would put a guest on that doesn't want a microphone? I mean, that's
my only
right.
Well, my only thought was another aspect of that could be you do that every episode, but you just never acknowledge the person.
Yeah.
It's like you talk to them, maybe you address them, or you acknowledge. I don't know if
you don't acknowledge it to the audience. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that he's there, that he's part of the show. I don't know. There's something there that's kind of abstractly funny.
It's abstract, and I thought it was. I thought it was a good move, because he was like, "No, there's no way I'm going to be on your podcast. No, I don't do that."
Dude, he was hilarious.
And I was like, "Bro, can you at least just sit in the room when I do it?" Because the way we communicate with each other and the way we talk, he's a hilarious guy.
That laugh, giggle of his
laugh is out there. Man. So I was like, dude, just sit in the room with me. But he sat next to me, and then it was like, at the end of it, he goes, dude, it's contagious. It's like, once you started talking, I couldn't not talk. I had to like jump in. And so it worked. I thought it worked.
I think that's...
And like I said, we thought it was clever, genius, and it made me think of, I can't think of who it is. I don't think it's Dan Patrick, but there's somebody, they have their own like sports show, and they do that. They've got, like the ticket. I mean, everybody's all in. The producers talk, whoever, the board opple, is mic'd up, all that stuff. But there's some, I can't think of who it is, but there's some sports show out there, and a lot of times the main guy, he'll be talking to somebody off. Yeah. But they're not mic'd up, and they don't. And you're always. But it's I don't know. It's intriguing. It adds a different element to it. Yeah. So, but that may be why it was. We thought it was clever, as we're used to that a little bit. Whereas maybe some of the people that you got negative feedback from were just like, maybe we have sort of a window into that a little bit.
Why would you put somebody on without a microphone? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's like a wasted guest, you know? I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to it, man. It's genius. You'll like it. You see it from a different perspective. But, I mean, we got 3 extra people in the room today, and they're not saying anything. So,
I know. What's up with that? They're mic'd up. Can they hear us?
I wish we could hear their internal monologue right now.
No, you don't. I don't think we do.
yeah.
True.
We don't need to hear all that.
Well, now, another observation. I'm just kind of bringing out some differences between our podcasts here. Mm-hmm. Michael and I basically have one piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Our phone. Yeah, my phone. It's usually my phone because your phone doesn't really mic out. The mic didn't work sometimes or something. Anyway.
I don't know. I think we just went with your phone.
Well, that first episode, there were some problems. I remember we were like, we're going to use yours from now on or something. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But so we're in here just to set the scene for those who may not know. Maybe people in your audience know, but maybe people in ours don't. I mean, we've got mics, headphones, a computer, what is this, what do you call this box thing?
That is a headphone amp.
Headphone amp, and what is that thing over there?
This?
Yeah.
It's just a little mixer.
Switchboard.
Mixer.
Switchboard.
Yeah.
Operator Aaron.
Recording.
Bones, I think we have a new nickname for Aaron. The switchboard. He's got a switchboard there. No, but it's impressive. Like I don't know if I have this kind of vision for our podcast, to be honest with you.
I don't know that this is a step above what you're doing with your phone.
That's all.
This is just like my antique brain.
It's awesome.
You know how I used to do my band and do all this stuff, like just equipment. You know,
and
so this is kind of just the way I've built it. But like my cousin Paul from the Just Breathe podcast, he does it with his phone also. He's on Anchor, and he does it with his phone also, and it's brilliant. He does a great job. So,
well, I'm just curious. This is awesome. Like, in what, how did you ramp up to this, or did you start out just with your phone, or did you?
When I first started, I had a microphone and this little recording device, and that's how I recorded everything, just straight into this, and I didn't have anything else.
Okay.
And then I just kind of slowly started building more, because what I used to do is just record the audio, my voice, and then I wanted music and I wanted breaks and I wanted stuff. So then I would record all the audio, and then I would go back in and put the music. And if I was referring to music, I would be like, okay, so guys, check out this song. And then I would wait 3 seconds and I would go, dude, that song is awesome. I love that song. And then I would go back in and put the song in and edit. And I was like, it's so, it's not genuine. I'm not actually having a reaction to having just heard the song. I'm manufacturing a reaction to how I think I would feel if I had just heard the song. So then I started adding more equipment so that I could play live music and kind of mix down an entire production, like a show, rather than just recorded audio. So I know the Anchor app lets you guys do music and different stuff like that. I had never even heard of Anchor when I started doing this. So.
Well, it's like the music is kind of
Yeah, it's all canned. It's nothing. Like, I actually wanted to talk to you. Maybe we can talk on mic, but I was hoping to talk to you off mic about how, like, music rights and all that kind of stuff. Because
it's kind of sketchy. Like, my intro music is me, right? That's music that I did, so that's my music. The outro music and stuff that I use from the band Limb, that is a friend of mine, so I have permission to use that. And then the stuff that I do in the transition music, the bend sound, that stuff, it's a little sketchy because he has royalty-free music, but he doesn't want it used on podcasts. And so kind of his concern from reading his website is that he won't get credit if it's just mixed into the background of a podcast. But when I use it, I say his name all the time. I'm like, thanks, Ben Sound, for this music. Ben Sound, you're awesome. If you want to check out more music, go to bensound.com. I try to give as much credit as possible. That way, if he ever does find out about it and listen to it, he'd come back and go, hey, I don't want you using my music. I'm like, dude, I try to give you credit. But, really the most he can do is say, hey, stop using my music. And so I will. But it's kind of sketchy. I really want to get to the point where I'm producing my own music throughout the entire thing, even the transition music. And there's stuff that I've been looking at to do that with, but it's just cost, and everything is cost right now. So there's no sponsors, there's no backbone, just me. So that's why at the end of the episode I say this podcast is brought to you by me, because I'm the one putting everything into it. So,
Yep.
you know,
we've made over 40 cents.
wow.
They don't pay out until you make $15, so it's just sitting there.
I know.
Slowly,
And I keep looking at it.
as slowly, as painfully slow as possible.
I need the money. Just kidding. Well, Ben Sound, tell me a little bit more about that. How do you, is that in a website?
It's a website,
And it's just,
bensound.com, yeah. There's a lot of websites out there. If you just Google royalty-free music, there's tons of websites that do royalty-free music, and you can just download their tracks and use them whenever you want to for whatever. Ben Sound, in my opinion, has been the highest quality. Dude, this Topo Chico's coming back on me.
Yeah, I've been fighting it.
It's been the highest quality across the board that I've enjoyed using from Ben Sound, so that's why I use him. But it's just a website, bensound.com. YouTube actually has a whole library of royalty-free music that you can use also.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. You just gotta, it's kind of a backdoor thing, so you gotta kind of Google a couple of different searches to find it, but it's there.
Kenny's all about the backdoor thing.
That's what I've heard.
It's going to be edited out.
Yeah. Well,
By the way, that's topochico.com.
Oh, is it?
But for anybody who
This episode not brought to you by Topo Chico.
go to topochico.com if you want to learn more about
Yeah.
Topo
So
Chico.
let's just wrap this up, guys, because I know we're kind of in a time crunch.
That got us kicked out.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
Damn.
So tell the people where they can find you guys.
Well, on the Anchor app, you can go to anchor.fm/banter and burgers. And then we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Banter and Burgers.
Banter and Burgers across the board.
All one word. Twitter's different because it was a little too long to have the word and. So it's just the letter N, Banter in Burgers for Twitter. But everything else is, if you search Banter and Burgers, it comes up pretty easily.
Spotify, Google Casts,
Apple
Podcasts. So we're up.
What's your release schedule right now? Do you have a release schedule? Like you release episodes every
Friday.
Every Friday. Okay.
And then I just hammer people on Saturday. I usually wait to hammer people just by text on them on Saturday. I figure if maybe some people will find us on Friday, but then on Saturday I start hitting people up. Hey, listen. But I don't do it every Saturday like that. But I like to just let people know. Hey, check us out.
Do you want to admit to our cheat?
No.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So you can't bring up something like that and then not say it.
Go ahead and tell them, Mike.
Just for our first episode, to get our listens up a little bit, Kenny went around to like Staples and Office Depot, places like that, and pulled up our podcast on all the computers on display. Best Buy.
Dude,
But
that
you
is
only
so
get
smart.
but you only get one listen out of it.
Yeah, we found out you only get, because it's all based on the IP address. So
yeah, I think it's a network key is what it is. I went around to all the different computers, punched this up. The first time I was really bold about it because I was like, I'm just gonna put them on all this and let it just play, like everybody can just hear our podcast. And so I went around, and then I kind of checked the listens, and I noticed it only went up one after I lit up like 10 or 12 computers, and there I went like to the different the devices, they had some
tablets
tablets and stuff around, and I started hitting those up. I was like, okay, we're only getting like one listen out of this. But I also have a buddy who has a website that kind of ties into my business, so I'll go around and I'll punch up his website on those computers too to get him some SEO traffic. And so I just, man, I'm a little bit
That's slick.
yeah, I'm
a
a
little guerrilla
Slick Rick
marketing,
for the
I guess.
culture.
Yeah.
a little sly like that when
Yeah.
it comes down to, hey man, I'm a hustler. I gotta make money, man. I don't live on the man anymore.
Right.
So
You're working for yourself, right?
working for myself.
Yeah,
Yes,
'cause
sir. So-
Banter and Burgers is paying your bills, so
Not exactly.
With those 40 cents.
It's not even paying for the burgers, man. If we could just swing that would be
I
a
don't think
start.
that's a head of lettuce at this point. But yeah.
Have you guys thought about sponsorships? Like you call ahead and say, "Hey, we're a podcast, and we want to come eat a burger at your joint." Can you?
Yeah, and I haven't discussed this, but my theory with that is I've thought about it, but also I don't want them to say no. What if they say no? I mean, then I guess we just go do it anyway,
We
But
go to a different spot.
Well,
Well,
I mean, we did have a week,
we just go and have a burger and trash it afterward. Like the burger
guys are
sucked.
assholes.
we did have a weird experience at Liberty Burger. I don't know, did we talk about it really on the podcast that much? But because we always just go and on the fly we ask the manager or the wait staff, whoever's right there, if they'll just say something on the podcast and kind of tell them what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the Liberty Burger people, they like looked at each other. It was like the bartender and the manager guy, and they were kind of like, I don't know. They're like, ownership is real weird about that. We'd rather not.
Yeah, they didn't want to be on
They
any
didn't
kind of
wanna-
social media.
Yeah.
Outside of the.
I
But
can
then you
understand.
emailed her, and she emailed you 3 weeks later.
Yeah,
saying
3
thank
weeks later
you
we got we got an email from the owner and then one of the owners, and then an email from their PR person. If you ever want to come back, let us know first.
Yeah, they probably would have done that because they would have put their spokesperson at your table,
Yeah.
and that way they know that
Yeah.
the control, the information that's being conveyed is controlled.
I think the main thing that you're implying is that we put some thought and
That's what I was just
into-
about to say. There
and,
wasn't a lot of thought that went into this,
Yeah,
especially in the beginting. It was just like we came up with a name.
Yeah, that was
That was huge. 'Cause
that
that's
was
a huge-
monumental. I mean, we were taxed for the rest of the day after just coming up with the name. We were like, oh, I got to chill out on the couch for a little while here.
But there was a guy at Offsite. He was awesome. And if you ever listen to that episode, he gives us a nice.
Yeah,
he goes, man, we asked him about one of the burgers. He goes, well, I don't know the origin of that name because I got called a fucking asshole because I said the wrong name, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I got a little nervous on that one, actually.
yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
She thought it's called the Murph Burger, Murph style.
That's right. She thought it was for the vet.
Yeah,
Murphy.
the guy that was what was that? Lone survivor, the sniper guy.
Yeah.
Kyle Murphy, is that his name? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway.
know. I don't remember his name. But
Yeah.
Murph. Because I know they do that the Murph every Memorial Day, which is it's like a certain workout. You got to do like 10,000 sit-ups and run
with like,
65
Oh yeah,
miles
for
and-
CrossFit or the WOD.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Murph.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
All
well,
right, man.
hey man, it was named after a dog, right? The Murph Burger,
That's what we sort
which
of
is a terrible
gathered
thing to
that.
name a burger after.
Well, we gathered that, but
Might
I
as well
don't know
name it
that he
after
ever
a
really
toilet.
confirmed it because he said there was this dog over here is named Murph, but he didn't really necessarily say that there's a connection.
Oh, okay.
We had to either infer that or maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Well, I wasn't sure if he was saying that was the story or that's the story he's made up because he doesn't really know. But they call that it's like some chrome
Yeah,
like
it was like
bulldog.
a
It's like a chrome bulldog statue, and he said that we call that Murph. But that begs the question: what was called Murph first, the Murph Burger or the Murph or
Statue.
statue? So we just didn't. It's a mystery wrapped inside of a riddle
Hey,
within an enigma.
it gives you reason to go back, right?
Yeah.
Go back and unravel the mystery of the Murph.
Yeah,
That's a whole episode right there.
it's like a Scooby Doo episode or something. Let's get in the van.
If it
Load
hadn't
up.
been for you meddling kids.
Yeah.
Man, hey, can I just say this before we go?
Say it.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Enjoyed
Thanks, Aaron,
Yeah.
for having
been awesome
and
to
really,
have you guys.
I've
having us on the Tamale Mafia.
I've learned a lot just listening to your show and just kind of going, man, you know. So I was telling Mike, and you know, just I like the stream of conscious, just the kind of, you know, I don't know. There's not a lot of structure to it, but at the
Right.
same time, there's some things that you do that I think are definitely well thought out, and it makes a huge difference in the way your presentation comes across. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever get to that point, but I've learned and observed and really enjoyed it. So
Thanks, man.
And best of luck, and hopefully we can make something of ours someday. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
man,
get me on the phone.
Have to come have a burger with you guys, and
Oh man, for sure, we need to make that happen.
Yeah, we definitely want to have you on, and hit up a joint and have a burger and do it up Banter and Burger style, which is to mean do it up very unprofessionally.
Freestyle, if you will. Freestyle.
As Kenny passes it to me, I think in one episode, he's like, "And now are you ready for your second bite or review or whatever?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm eating.
I got a mouthful. I got
have
nothing
a burger
right now.
in my mouth as we speak." But
I like how I guess you control it's your phone, right? So you control the recording most of the time.
I mean, it's usually kind of like right between us,
Because it seems like Michael never knows when it's recording. Like,
I definitely try to
he's
surprise.
Yeah, he's done that. He's tried to spring it on me a couple of times, which I don't care. That's fine, and but
I like that. I would stick with that theme.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
There's something to that. There's some genius in that, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys.
All right,
man, thank you guys for coming in and meeting with us here at the Common Desk in Dallas, Deep Ellum.
Need to rock. This is a great
cool
spot. Maybe we can get we need a sponsor like this.
Yeah.
Sponsor us doing our show.
Yeah, I always think with sponsors, I need more leverage in my listener base before I can hit sponsors, because they're gonna like, what are you going to give us out of it? And I'm gonna be like, well, 3 people. There are 3 people that are gonna hear this. Okay.
Yep.
12 listeners not related to me.
Yeah.
And then there may be another 15 or so from like Office Depot, places like that.
Well, dude, most of my listeners are not related to me because my family's like, oh, I would listen, but
Right. I don't have time for that shit.
I don't like your language, or I don't like the way you talk about Jesus, or whatever.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to share this. This is a nugget to share for the first time. I haven't shared this with Kenny. So my wife was talking to her mom, my mother-in-law, the other day, and she said, let Michael and Kenny know I listened to their podcast, and they were good. They're way better than those Sonic guys. Those guys are so boring. So my wife was like, so you're saying their podcast is not as boring as 2 boring guys? So I just
That's
thought
hilarious.
That was hilarious.
I did not know about that.
That's our highest paid compliment so far.
Dude, that needs to be our tagline.
Not as boring as the 2 Sonic guys.
Better than Sonic. Too good. Banter and Burgers. Too good for Sonic. I don't know.
I just would stick with not as boring as those other guys.
Yeah. But that was classic mother-in-law material.